Hey there everyone, it's Currency Relics back with my annual update, and this time I'm going to be showing off the whole stack. I got it all pulled out for you, and if I talk about every single one it's going to take me forever, so I'm just kind of going to flow through the notes and show you the front and the back, and we're just going to roll right along. This one was an upgrade this year. With these notes, I plan on collecting the first and second obligation reverse for the $5, $10, and $20 denominations, and this one is the second obligation. You can see with this design here. This was a new edition this year. Heritage Auction win. Now this is the first obligation from the Tom Champion collection. This was also an upgrade this year. Also an upgrade. This one's very nice for a VG8. See that? With a comment. This is one of the big notes I got back in January. Ugly note, but it's beautiful to me. Super tough. This one was pretty elusive for me. This $10 1878. They're not that common, and they don't come up for sale very often either. This is the holder up here. Funny story about this one. Already talked about it on the round table, but this one is actually a Friedberg 28A, and that was discovered in 2017, and this series of 1880 is usually found over here, but because it's at the top, it's a 28A. Pretty scarce. They fetch a high dollar, but it's hard to say exactly how many are out there yet with how new the discovery is. There's also a scarcer Friedberg. I want to say 58 of them out there. This was an upgrade this year. It just happened to be a scarce Friedberg. So is this one, Friedberg 75. Pretty tough. To everyone out there watching, these are the kind of videos that many of us love to watch, just seeing everyone's collection. So if you've been thinking about posting your collection or just kind of documenting it, you know, I would love to see it, and I'm sure many more would like to as well. It's just really cool, like seeing how everyone else is, like what their preferences are, how their collection grows or changes. Some people buy a bunch of notes and then they sell them and they switch to a different, you know, collecting niche. This is actually one of the highest graded, well, this is the second highest graded large note that I have. This one just has that deep, bold portrait and nice seal. But yeah, if you've got a collection out there, I'd love to see you make a video about it, just like this. Now, this one is a 35Q, but it's got these initials over here in the margin. This white speck kind of annoys me because I think it's on the note or it's inside the holder because you can't wipe it off. Other than that, super nice. Also an upgrade this year. Very nice note. Those poker chips are always popular. Then moving into the 1880s. This was a really nice grab this year. Nicer than I thought I was going to be able to get. Paid up for it though. Nice Diamondback. Got this one really inexpensively. Barely over 2,000. And if you look at any reference guide, these things are way more than that, especially in VF. But if you look at auction results, they're definitely, in this condition, probably more towards 4K. The book will have you think it's 7. This was an upgrade this year. Note, definitely looks like it might have had a bath, something. It's very light, but I like the look. Like the design features are nice and clear compared to the one that I had. Again, I'm not collecting perfect notes out here, but I value seeing all the design elements more than I used to. I used to just kind of collect what I could afford, and now that I make a little bit more as I'm getting older, my standards have risen a little bit on the common types. But a note like this is good enough for me. It's got that little bit of soiling, little bit of dirt, little bit of love, but everything's there. Spend time in a wallet. I intend to also add the 1908 $10 tombstone and an 1891 with the double sawbucks over here. The blue seal variant. This is about as nice as a fine 15 can look without being a 20. My opinion, but this was the first note that I ever bought. Super nice. But at the time, I thought this was an XF, but I think it would only get a 35 because it's got the 3 folds there and then that one very light fold right here going across. You can see it. So this is what a, choice VF looks like. Got this one for $550 in 2019. Especially with the color on the back, I think that's a good deal. I don't know if I want to upgrade this one or not. Maybe sometime in the future, like 10 years from now. I like this type a lot. This one's got a bunch of issues, but it just looks, the body of the note is great. The color's great. Got this one this year. And I've made a decision that I want to collect the 1906, the 1907, and the 1913s. So I decided to pick this one up. This was my final purchase of 2025. Very nice upgrade. Just a beautiful note. Super bold. Another upgrade here. Rare 25 PPQ. I don't see it that often. Great color. Another one of my big notes for this year. One of my biggest notes for the foreseeable future. $1,000 1907. And I know I just said a few moments ago that I'm collecting the 1907s and the 1922s, but I don't think there's a reason to go after a 1922 1,000. It's just a lot of money for a very similar note. One or the other. And this is the one I have. Big upgrade this year too. Very nice VF. Another edition this year. This one was really hard for me to track down. I just had a really hard time finding these $18.90 $5 treasuries. If they were like in a nice VF, they were super expensive. And the fines were going for too much money. Or they just look like crap. And this one kind of fit the bill. Very proud of this one. Also new this year. Any coin guys out there, I bought this one from Rarity 7 from Noah. Great guy. Another big addition this year, Marshall note. My buddy Ontario 100 was with me when we saw this note and decided that I needed it, and able to take this one home after some time. Thank you, Ontario, for the assist. Also the assist with this one. Another note from Ontario's collection. My sole Red Seal representative for the 1914s. I plan on overhauling many of these notes. They're easy to find, in good condition. It's just I have to figure out what grade I want. I don't want to go too high because it just wouldn't match. So I got to figure that out. I'm not upgrading my 100 though. I think it's really good, and I only got it for 400 bucks. And you're just not going to be able to match that. So that one is going to happen. It looks good enough anyway. It fits my criteria. But a note like this, I could see it like really nice 35 or even, you know, an XF. Because they're only a couple $100. When it comes to these notes, you have to find the look that you like. Just because a note is a certain grade doesn't mean that it looks the same as another note, the same grade. So you have to find out, do you value dark portraits? Do you value, you know, a bright white looking note? Do you like the seals being really nice and bold? Do you care about a note being problem-free or EPQ? What do you value? You have to figure that out. That's part of, you know, curating your collection. And it wasn't until this year really where I kind of started to establish those standards, especially on the notes that, you know, aren't exceedingly rare. I have a pretty ambitious collection, and I've kind of had to establish those standards and those limits too, in order for me to be able to achieve the goals that I want to achieve. Yeah, this note, yeah, it's got its problems, but it looks great to me. I can see all the design elements, and the impairments just served as a discount. Again, $400. I bought this note 2018, but still, I had a good deal on this note even then. And it's definitely VF, just has its problems. But that's a lot of the fun, is trying to figure out what you like, what you don't like, and being less impulsive. Really sitting and looking and scouting out what you want, hunting for it. There's another big note. I've effectively completed my $1,000 denomination set. If I get really lucky in my life, maybe I'll be able to get the 1880 legal tender, 1,000, or any of those crazy notes, but I can't reasonably expect that. Right now, I'm just really happy with where I am, and I'm happy with what I have. If I wasn't allowed to, if I couldn't afford to collect anymore, and I could just hold on to these, I'd be happy. This note came from the Charlton Buckley collection. Not really sure who he was. If anyone does know, drop a comment. And this one is actually in the wrong darn holder. It says it's a $1 1918. Wrong Friedberg number. And I think it's the right grade, but I could also see this in a fine 15 holder. I even tried putting this in on PMG's website, and it populated as a $1 note, which it obviously isn't. So I should probably be able to get to reholder this for free. So that'll happen sometime in the future when I do send in all my raw notes. Right now I'm waiting to send in my raw notes until I have all the notes that I'm upgrading figured out, because I've been replacing a lot of my raw notes with upgrades that are already graded, so I'm waiting to separate that, and also trying to figure out who I'm going to send them to. For these 1918s, I'm also allowing the 1915s. I really like the way Cleveland's portrait pops on this note. And these are it's kind of a bland series past the 1 and 2, but I like the look of it. I like the open portrait. If anyone knows, if anyone is in cahoots with PCGS banknote, I'm curious why they don't have a registry yet for currency. They have for coins, and they have all the numbers you would need, and it's been years. And that's one thing that I do enjoy with PMG. I mean, I just throw them in there. It's kind of like a way to see other people's collections as well. And PCGS does not have a registry at all for notes. I think it would be easy enough for them to do. Another note I snagged off of Ontario. Thank you, sir. It's a beautiful type. This note I'm probably going to have to get reholdered. I don't think it's a 20, but it's got all sorts of things going on. And a lot of the details are there, so who knows? We'll see. How I get the rest of that crud off that holder. Another series to upgrade for the 5 and 10. Find banks that I like. Maybe I'll go with, a hometown bank. Not sure yet. Almost at the end, guys. Thank you for sticking it out if you made it this far. This was probably the best way for you guys to really get a look at my collection. I have, a lot of these notes in a binder that I keep stored, and it's just hard to display on a video because of how much glare there is and how big the binder is, so figured this would be the best way to do it. This was a very big year for me, so happy a lot. I've grown a lot too, thanks to the round table and everyone, with Polar Currency, Ontario 100, Stu Pluback, and all those guys. So if you're relatively new, welcome to my annual update, and thank you guys for joining me. And until next time, thank you for watching, and take care.